here.
Amen.
Yes.
Yes.
Won't he do it, church? Won't he
Yes,
do
he
it?
will.
Won't he do it for you? Won't he do it?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yes. It's. I feel like the wine is. It's been a long time coming, but a change. Change
Gonna
has come.
come. Yes.
Amen.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
you are watching another Tia's Talking session, and I have the women's here with me tonight. We are going at it again for the month of March with women's Women's Appreciation Month? Women Appreciation Week.
Women's.
Women's. Okay. Ah, Lord, I
Women's.
got to say this right. I went to Hill House, so bear with me. And so we are celebrating again everything woman. I think there was a song, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, or something like
Yes.
that. And so let me just go around the room real quick. We have the illustrious Gail Williams here with us tonight uh, in the
Woo!
lower right corner. My sister from another mister. I've known Gail for many, many, many years. And I thank God for her. Oh, everybody up here tonight has been someone that I have been watching or have had some sort of encounter with that has just been a blessing to my life. And so Gail has done that in her own way. She probably don't even know,
Praise God.
like folk. I've been watching her since our days back at Pitts Chapel, and just you
Woo.
can grow from other people. We're just watching other people's life, and I thank
Amen.
God for her just living her life in front of us so that we could see what we need to improve. And if when you get to know Gail, ladies, you'll see how much improvement I need.
Stop. We are all teaching each other.
Right.
See, we in the same army, but it's a different ranking, and I understand that I need that. I just need to stay in my lane. And then we have the illustrious Pastor Jerry Brown with us tonight. Her pedigree is
Amen.
way too much for me to expound upon
Woo.
here. She got more degrees than a
Do that.
thermometer. And I just wish one day that I could, evolve to the point where I could, hang in some of the circles that she frequents. And so we just thank God for her
To
tonight.
God be the
And then
glory.
last but certainly not least, she has become like a big sister I never had. Someone that talks junk to me, like I talk junk to others. Now y'all know that's something. That's
That's
an
something.
anointing.
That's lethal.
Yes.
Listen, but there's no lies when she finishes and she gets me together, and and Gail, I'm not the most emotional person in the world. She got me together one night. I was crying. I ain't tell her the next day. I said, "Oh my God,
Did, did
listen."
anybody record it?
Yeah. Right.
I had to
We
write that
all
in my
need
diary
somebody
because
like
that ain't
that.
never happened.
Amen. So, ooh. So I
But
need somebody like that.
she is also educated. She has her church, her passion for the truth. She's got a program that does all kinds of stuff in the community. She
Amen.
has a travel agency. She be everywhere. I saw her wrapped up in Arabia or somewhere.
Oh
I don't even
Lord.
know where she was at, Lord. It was just a bunch of pretty sand, and she was all wrapped
Amen.
up like she belonged there. She got
Ooh.
them crazy color eyes, and I was like, "Ro, is that you?"
Amen. Sound good to me.
Listen, well, she like to
Okay.
travel too, Pastor Brown. So
Oh
my
yeah.
God, and so she has become a friend more than a sister friend. She has become a sister friend, and I appreciate her and what she does for me, because sometimes I need a talking to. So we thank God for her. And so tonight, like, do you guys want to talk about some of the things you do? Just because I want to be able to highlight. She like
Nah.
no, at least
Nah, we can talk
nah.
about the
Oh,
business.
okay. All right. So
I'm sure it'll come out.
oh, they
Yeah.
on fire with this story. This story right here done made them mad.
Let me tell you.
Oh God. So where y'all want to start? Cause there's so much meat on this bone. I just don't even know. So we're gonna be talking about the infamous Billie Holiday tonight and her life, and particularly the movie, The United States versus Billie Holiday. And let's just jump into it. Um, I thought, I tried to keep the story in line, so we won't be all over the place. But it's like when they first started out in the funny character that was interviewing her,
Yeah,
I'm not sure which one,
but
but
whatever.
hilarious. I love the character. I was this is so Hollywood. But when he asked her, "What is it like to be a black
Yeah.
woman?" I mean, y'all just go ahead. Well,
Wow.
like what does it mean to be a black woman? All of us have been to school, have had some sort of training, but I think that we all can still say we have come into situations where we're like, do anybody else deal with this here? Is
Right.
this unique to our experience? And what do you guys think about that? I thought that was a great question. What is it like to be a black woman?
Yeah. I
I
thought that
was,
was because I thought that was epic because that's my first question too. What is it like to be, he said, a colored woman, but
Mm-hmm.
I call
Mm-hmm.
myself black now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
The titles keep changing.
yeah, well, this week, yeah, I'm black.
Yeah, okay.
But as I was thinking about that, I really had to give it some thought because I know who I am. But, in the workplace, in the marketplace, in academia, in the church, what is it? I had to ask myself, what is it like to be a black woman? What is it like to be a woman? And then what it's like to be a black woman? Um, so I know in the workplace and in academia, there have been times that, working with white women, that they would come and say, "Hey, G, what do you think about such and such?" I'll tell you what I think about it. Then we get in the boardroom, and what I thought about such and such is now what you saying is what you thought about it.
Okay. Okay.
So from my perspective, I'm all that in a bag of chips. But when other people sometimes look at me, some of the things that they say, I have to really, I have that look on my face is like, well, who you talking about? Who you talking to? So I think that being a woman of color, there are pluses and there are minuses. I try to stay focused on the pluses, but there are times that even from my own dear brothers, whom I love very much, they sometimes make me feel like I'm less than because I am a woman of color.
Absolutely. 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 What you say about that, Gail, Pastor Rowe? What you got to say about that?
when he asked the question, I really got angry because I try to think of things in analogies, and I said, how would I answer that? Like, I thought about, okay, put a fly in a jar and have it upside down, and the fly is just trying to go everywhere, going crazy because there's so much it has to get out and do,
Mm.
and it's just being trapped. Like, I truly could not think of a specific scenario that could speak the volume of what it means to be a black woman. You gave the analogy of um someone using your idea.
Mm,
I literally went through the same thing last month. I
mm,
got requested to come on a particular team because of some project that I worked on in the past. And I joined this team, and I already, you do a quick analysis and you see what's wrong. You say, this is what you need to do. Boom, 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 boom. Shoot an email with suggestions. You get a response that says, okay, we'll think about it. Next board meeting, the whole idea is laid out.
Yeah.
your
So
idea.
it's
Your idea. Your idea. Okay.
Yeah.
it's like having energy and power and ideas and encouragement and motivation trapped in a space where are people
And put
see it, and won't let you use it. Like,
they
Mm,
want the idea, but it feels like they don't want you.
Right.
right. I've had an interesting experience being raised by my grandmother, who was born in 1914. And I'm
mm,
using that for a reason because out of the country, no matter where I go, they call me queen. I didn't know who I was.
Mm.
I
Mm.
walked like it, I moved like it. They identified it. But in America, I've always seemed like I was oblivious because who said I can't? Yet, being raised by my grandmother, there was some standards I refused,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Meaning, I just when he asked her, how does it feel to be a colored woman? Because of them, I will not be a nanny anywhere
Mm.
Amen.
under no circumstances.
No.
No, and no disrespect to anybody, but because of them, I will not. Because of them, I won't work in a hotel. There's just some things because they fought long and hard, because their
Yes.
brothers and people were lynched, posed, and bitten. I'm just come see, come see, why?
Right.
You know, and it's interesting that you said that you women, beautiful women have said that because I didn't experience that. What I did experience though is I bought a house, and when I bought the house, people were like, "You live there?"
Like you're
Excuse
not
me?
supposed to.
Right.
Like I'm not supposed to live. I hired someone to fix the garage, and he came and said he was from the Bronx, so I thought I had a homie,
Uh-oh.
the tri-state
Right.
area. And he forgot something, and he said, "I'll be back." And I called him, "Where are you?" He was like, "Oh, I forgot." Okay, charge it to you. I called again the next day. Said, "What time are you coming?" He said, "I'll be there first thing in the morning." Guys, have y'all seen him? I haven't, but what he did say
Mm.
was, "Wow, this is a big, nice house,"
Mm.
and I never saw him again.
Wow.
My
I
goodness.
had another man come in to check my air conditioner. He came in and did this.
Mhm.
I was like, "Hello, you okay? You good?" "Wow, this is a nice house." I said, "Well, who are you expecting to live here?" So, like you said, T, why people don't expect us to have anything when we survived everything?
Now that's good
Amen.
right there.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And I think that it's even we talk about it in a general sense in the country that we live in, but I think it's even worse when we start dealing with it in the realm of religion and church and how
Oof.
women have been for years objectified and
Mhm.
overlooked and uh, I'm not gonna stay on this long because I just
Right.
but it's partly the women's fault because the women make up 99.9% of the church, but they give 0% respect to women that are trying to do ministry. And they look to the men as if they're better or more qualified when that's not always the case. And we just had a conversation about this in Bible study. I said, let's not forget that Sister Obama was Brother Obama's mentor.
It's false. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Come on
So
here.
if he's
Amen.
qualified to be president, then so is she.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Praise our God.
Absolutely.
Praise our.
So,
That was really good. You was on your way
Yes.
somewhere.
All right. Let's see. I'll take.
but we got to think about that.
Yes.
And Sherilyn said it right. We show other women how to treat us, and then the men are looking at how we treat each other,
Each
Come
other.
on.
and that's not even going into the other races watching how we treat each other.
Right.
Mhm.
That's so
And it
true.
goes down to Billie Holiday's song,
Oh,
"Strange Fruit."
I
Strange.
The way we treat one another, it goes all the way back to the root, where
Yes.
fathers were ripped away from the families and homes, and there was always moms, so they always expect a black female to be strong, to be there, to edit everything, and to keep pushing. I don't sometimes see fathers who are absent. They come into a kid's life and they're the best thing since sliced bread, and you're like, wait a minute,
Right.
wait a minute. I was up all night with you, but no matter what you say, they're there. And then if you notice, I'm going to say something not politically correct. Thank you for this broadcast. If you notice, white people and black men expect black women to work super hard. Why am I saying that? Is because I've learned that if you ask a black man, whether you're married or he's the father of your children, to go with you to the doctor, I can't go with you to the doctor. I'm working. But if a white woman asks, he's taking the day off, and they
She ain't
got
even
no.
gotta ask. She ain't even gotta ask.
Right.
When I see a
You gonna
black
ask her.
man, and listen, we about to get in trouble. When I see a black man at the beach with a kid, I know that the woman is white. I already know. I already know.
It's
Cause you don't see it, and if they can prove me wrong, if I could get some black brothers that take, well, listen, I know of a couple, so I ain't gonna throw them all under the bus. But usually, when I'm over at that beach in the summer, I ain't beach ready yet, Gail. I'm working on it. Even though I got those insomnia cookies waiting on me. But usually,
Right?
if you see them at the beach and they're so catering to this child, you know, it ain't a sister that they with, and that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
It's unfortunate because it really is psychologically damaging. And then listen, you ain't supposed to cry over nothing. You're supposed to hold everybody down. You're not supposed to have no emotions or feelings. And then they get mad and say, well, you too independent. I need a woman to need me. Well, I could never.
Woman. And you're an angry black woman. Same thing, even in the church. Like, I ignored them. I had the opportunity to speak for Dr. Martin Luther King's Day with the Ferguson Library in Stanford, and it was a platform of men. I was the only woman. And there was one particular guy who I don't know. He's new. He kept coming for me. I text somebody, said he had one more win.
Right.
I'm not it. And then he said, well, you know, he mentioned something about intelligence and education. And I wanted to slide him bio. You don't know me, bruh.
Right.
But let's leave it because we're not here for that. But here's the thing that I want to share that was powerful. The woman who put the event on was a black female, and she put it on. And what happened was one of the brothers called me to say thank you for being on the platform, and made a mistake and clicked someone else in.
Oh.
When the brother came in, he was like, can you believe it? They only had this many people on the line. I thought it was going to be more people than that. Now, this brother has a church of 1,200 and didn't invite anyone.
Wow.
But this is what he said. He said, next year, I'm going to do my own, use my own Facebook page, use my own Zoom, and invite my own people. I was like, why didn't you invite your people over to what you were on? I'm sorry. I don't understand this.
I don't know. I just think it's the nature of black women to be helpers and nurturers. Even when I started my own church, my own now, I'm pastoring my own thing. I was still willing to be associated with some of the churches that I was associated with to help them with music ministry. And I probably still would have been doing that if I didn't feel the breeze from the shade.
Right.
But anyway, okay. Yeah. All right, let me go on this. Let me go on with Billie Holiday for y'all get me in trouble. So, since we already on the men thing, I think it was interesting that a song would be the thing that would make the government like so enraged with her. She wasn't a public speaker. No. She wasn't a preacher that was going,
it was the message. It was the message. You can post a meme on Facebook and they will lock you up if they do not approve of the message.
So you say these preachers today ain't got no message? Is you telling me the songwriters today?
I'm saying oftentimes you may compromise your lyrics for the paper.
Oh, preach, daughter, come on. Hey,
I'm just saying.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
What I want to know is what happened to the guy that
she refused to do that. She did it for a period. She did do it for a period, but when she, that last scene when they showed the lynching and the kid, something inside of her just would not allow her to silence herself anymore.
Absolutely.
And I mean, you talk about women, we just are nurturers and helpers. How often do we keep silent to keep the peace?
Oh
goodness, too
yeah,
often.
what's your Cash App? These people need to send you some money.
But come on,
we do.
We do it. I mean, everyone knows someone who is, girl, you need to have a family meeting to discuss. No, we're gonna keep the peace. Girl, you need to tell that boss, no, we're gonna keep the peace.
Keep the peace.
And it's mostly
because
us.
when you speak your mind, it's like the angry black woman. You angry? No, I'm not angry. Like for the longest, I couldn't understand. Oh, she's mean. No, I'm direct. And you're not fencing to get over on me.
Right.
And folk can't handle that. So you become stereotype, typecast, all these things. Like, especially when you're in a male-dominated industry. Go ahead.
May I?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to give you 3 things at one time. So you didn't think I was like you guys. With the at work thing, I was like, oh, that wasn't me. But when I look at my life, I was going to run for mayor. And they told me, this is a man's game and your money is not long enough back off.
Oh.
That's one. The second thing was I was renting out a building. And every single thing that happened, I was in the building, minding my business, and the owner of the building said, don't come to me with the Black Lives Matter stuff. And I was like, wait. What?
Okay.
First, I wasn't even thinking about you or it. Like, what are you talking about? But he threw that out there, and I said to him afterwards, excuse me, don't you ever approach me like that in front of your son again, because I'm going to embarrass you in front of him. Right. I didn't say, like you said, I'm keeping the peace. I'm thinking about your family, but you wasn't thinking about mine.
Come on. Come on.
And then there were things that happened, and I just kept being quiet because of my church. But like you said, Billie Holiday is just not sitting well with me. Keep thinking, how am I going to approach this? And he keeps doing it. And you mentioned, if we don't teach people how to treat us, they don't have a problem saying what they want to say. So we shouldn't have a problem saying what we want to say.
And what needs to be said.
It's the truth.
That's the whole
I have a client and we have these long conversations every time it's tax season. But anyway, I'm having a conversation with her, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said, people go to work and they do these jobs because they feel they need the employer. Not understanding that the employer needs them. Not saying you go to work and you cut and act like a fool. You conduct yourself orderly, but if people would get out of the mindset that they need somebody else, and not understand that somebody else needs what they have, I think they would be less likely to keep quiet about certain things or to voice themselves.
I think,
but again,
they have to go in with the mentality that I'm an independent contractor.
Right.
Not that I'm a slave for the wage.
Right.
Because that's a whole different mentality.
To do that. And as you're talking about, you mentioned the word slave, and if we go back, through our ancestry and going all the way back, we came from kings and queens. We were in the motherland. We were it. We are, but then when we came here, they broke us. They stacked us in these slave ships and dropped us off on, in different places. And then we get here to the Americas, and now we're subservient people. And that mentality is still going on, even in us sometimes. Even in us sometimes, like we're saying, rather than standing up and defending ourselves because it's been passed down generation by generation. We're still keeping ourselves sometimes in that subservient role. And then for those of us who don't, then again, we're angry Black women, or we're emotional, or we can't. And I've had Black men tell me, "Oh, you're so emotional. So what, am I just supposed to be a piece of wood, unemotional? How can that be? I've been through too many things.
Right.
We've been through too many things, and a lot of them I've learned from. So I'm not going to let you put me on the floor as a piece of hard wood and walk on me anymore." But because of that, and we have an obligation to teach this to the next generation of young women coming up so that they will know. For a while there was this term bossy. And my granddaughter, I only have one granddaughter, and she has a strong personality, and she was upset. She said, "Mima, they call me bossy." I said, "Sissy, they just jealous because you know what you want and you go after it." And we have to do the same.
It's a mindset and a mentality. Think about what Billie Holiday went through. It's what she still accomplished, being broken from the age of 10.
Yes.
I just think about from a mother's standpoint, if somebody nurtured that, if somebody protected her, if somebody guided her, all of that was in her could have been that much more powerful.
But look at this.
And she still did something.
Yes. And here's the thing, because we're talking about the business aspect of it. And even when she was somebody,
right,
she still couldn't get on the elevator. That the symbolism in the fact that she couldn't get on the elevator to go up. I said, "This will preach."
Right.
She was making $1,000 a week back then.
And if you notice, if you look at any of the documentaries or anything on YouTube, all they talk about is her addiction.
That's it.
Yeah. Right. They had to amplify that.
They amplify. I mean, in one setting, it was she was addicted to heroin. She got arrested. She got out a couple of months later. She got arrested, and she was arrested in the hospital. And I'm going, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Right.
Because look at this. Because nobody wanted to talk about when our first black president, Bill Clinton, had the little girl. We said, "Oh, that's fine, long as he run the country." I don't. Can I say this? Oh Lord, I won't get in trouble.
Yeah, you can say it.
I don't prefer some of the things that Leandria Johnson does. Okay, I don't prefer it because I'm a little bit more conservative. However, if it had been Leandria that cussed her son out, grown or a child, she would be more ruined than they tried to ruin her for drinking the Patron on Periscope.
It's a fact. It's a
so
fact.
I'm wondering, when are we going to deal with this double standard? We have had so many black artists that died from drug addictions that were not activists. Like Gail said, that their message didn't have nothing to do. They wanted you to keep shaking it and calling women out of their name. And nobody ever talks about they praise for Shizzle My Nizzle, Snoop Dogg. They praise him.
Girl, he cooking with Martha.
I didn't understand. I really didn't want some help on that one. I try to lay down.
We need a whole episode for that
one. Just on that.
But here's the thing that got me.
That's a series.
It is. The thing that got me was when he asked Gail for permission to cuss her out. Okay, that's one thing. But the thing that got me was when he apologized and said, "My mama is saved, and she told me I know better." I said, "Your mama never listened to your records?" Are you kidding me? What we talk about in the media, the government, and what you can do, because if you look at Nas, they shut Nas down because Nas said Bush took down the towers. They shut Nas' mic off. You haven't heard.
I wish we had.
Go ahead.
I wish we had a community of women that were like her hairdresser, the one that wore the patch. And
Yes.
there was that scene where she said people don't understand her and people need to help her. And she talked about, not that I'm condoning them helping to feed her addiction, but understand where the addiction came from is before condoning someone.
I think
But
the
we
thing
never
that
do.
made,
We never.
I'm sorry. The thing that made Jimmy Fletcher, to me, a palatable person was because he started off trying to be ambitious, and he was able to see her, even though he wanted to squeeze her bonds.
Right.
To see her,
He
yes.
was able to see her. And when he said to them, you know, like, y'all really need to be helping her. Like, you know, he really became her advocate in a way. You know,
Yeah.
I think his role was like, yo, in the beginning I couldn't stand him, but by the end I was like, I understand, Jimmy.
Yeah.
I understand. And if black women could get people to see them, not what you think I am, not my exterior, not my mouth, because our mouth be reckless sometimes. But most of the time, we ain't telling no lies. Even when we cussing out the man we love, we ain't telling no lies.
No.
It's true.
Oh,
It's
But
true.
and if you truly see the person, you'll see where that's coming from.
That's what the bottom
And it
line.
wouldn't phase you.
It comes
Trying
from
to get me right.
we're harder on one another than we
Right.
are on everyone else.
That's true.
We're harder on ourselves.
Yes.
We are hard, but
We're
listen,
harder on ourselves than
I
anybody.
have two things. I'm gonna hit two of those things. Let me get the hard on myself because that's easier. I'm normally cool. I happened, a white man opened the door for me one day, and I said, "Wow, chivalry is still right." He said, "Wrong word." It beat me up almost all day because we were in the same building, and I sat down and I Googled it, and I was like, "That was the right word." I waited for him for 4 to 5 hours to tell him he was wrong. But I beat myself up for 5 hours thinking I used the wrong word. I must be stupid. He said it so hard, I thought he was right.
But again, you go back to the system. What makes us start to doubt ourselves?
Well, I think it starts in grade school. Because I don't know about y'all, but when I was coming up, dark skin wasn't in style.
Well, I came up there.
So it starts in grade school when everybody's preferring the light-skinned little girl with the long ponytails over you.
This computer.
You see. So it starts very young. It starts when you know you might have a sibling that's a little lighter than the others. And that whole, or you have a mother who was dark skinned and now you're the brown skinned one, and she projects. It starts real.
It starts young.
It starts real young, and so it grows up with us like a demon. So by the time you're grown, it's a part of the fabric of who you are, and it takes a lot of detoxing from those ideas and being intentional with therapists and friends that say that's dumb and let's work out, you know. But how many people are emotionally intelligent enough and they'll have a bunch of their own stuff to really have a friend that's speaking to them like that?
Yeah, we can do it with each other. It's the call versus the condition. Somebody else might be weak, and another one is strong. We need each other. We need
each other.
We really do to help. We look at now. That was another thing. The social media, the stuff that goes on when it comes to blacks, they blast all the time. They don't show all the stuff that white people do. Case in point is that I was watching something on the news came up, and I was ordering some food, and they had the news, and the lady said, "Well, we're going to interview people who are tan during the pandemic." Everyone they interviewed was white.
As if we don't exist.
Right.
You mean to
Yeah, and if you watch the videos that first came out, there was this one girl who they interviewed, and they asked her, you know, about the stimulus check that was coming, the very first one. And she was like, "I need it because my daughter is turning 1 and I want to have her birthday party." Wow.
What?
I know you was like, they
Okay.
couldn't find nobody else to talk to.
Nobody else.
Nobody.
A whole line of people out there. That's the one person you gravitate toward.
Really? Yeah.
Okay. You know what I thought? Else I thought was great. They made it. They wanted to show her brilliance as a musician, and so when they was trying to round her up, did you hear them say, "Is Louis there?" They were looking for Louis
Yeah.
Armstrong and some other
Yeah.
prominent musicians, and I was like, was it that their message wasn't as strong? They weren't inciting thought in people. But then you saw white people stand up and say, saying strange
Saying
fruit.
strange fruit.
So I was like, are they trying to get her killed? What's going on?
I think that she was speaking for a lot of people that wanted to keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this needs to be said, but I'm gonna stay over here and be safe while you say it.
A whole
Right.
bunch of Nicodemus. Yeah.
But it was something because Billie Holiday also said, I only sing something about my life or my friends or of importance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Other than that, I'm not interested. And
She
sometimes
talks about what goes on in. She wanted them to know that she cares about what goes on in the culture.
but it's the
Right.
same. It's the same thing with Black women in the church when you talked about religion. We preach what God give us. We don't try to be politically correct.
Right.
Thus, you end up with
And if God speak to you real good, you ain't worried about Greek or Hebrew or nothing.
None.
I'm worried about what He said,
What he said.
and I'm not worried about
Period.
if it's going to get Facebook likes in order for me to get the next convention. Because
No.
that's the
Because
situation. So
you gotta be worried about all the people that it might offend, and not the one person you need to reach that might be trying to commit
Right.
suicide tonight. Not that
Suicide.
person.
Right. Which brings me to this question, ladies. When we talk about this now, Tara Latif said that I have a travel business. I have a travel business. 87% of my clients are white.
Of course.
And yet I see my Black friends and Black people and Black pastors and Black this and that at the airport waving. They will pay Expedia, Travelocity, and Orbit. Can I say that? And they're all owned by the same man. He don't make enough money. He owns a radio.
We don't think about. Don't even get me started on the circulation of our money. That's a Tierlin. That's
Right.
another series. Let me just say that.
That's
Okay,
another
okay.
Oh yeah, I heard you.
So
in the
please
account.
make sure you put your travel information out there because I do have 2 upcoming trips. Usually I try to do them myself, but I can use you because I do try to help my brothers and sisters out, and my sisters
is-
more so. If I can help somebody, I'm going to help them because I'm going to spend the money anyway.
I thank you so much. And here's the beauty though. I try to get all churches to open their own travel business. You got Holy Convocation, Conference, Women's Day, couples, this. Open your own travel agency and let the church go through you. I don't get it.
Let
But
me tell
they
you,
still- they like,
because you
I gotta research.
you had that conversation with me and I tried it. I went to my church. I said, let's do this. And it's for me, I was like, I'm not going to initiate it if they're not going to support it.
Right.
Right.
That was my issue. Even though I was willing to
Yeah.
initiate it, they wasn't willing to support it.
But that was the fun part that I'm telling you, because if you was a man,
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
I've had-
let
They
me
would
tell
have
you
just up
something.
and said it.
If I was a man,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have to worry about a whole lot of stuff.
Right.
I've been in meetings where you got whole grown men with wives and children catering to another young man. That's the preacher or the pastor. Versus as a woman, I was talking to a friend yesterday. She came from North Carolina. She preached again yesterday, and she checked in at the Cheesecake Factory. And I said, I know you ain't there. I know you and my friends ain't up there without me. And she said, I came here to pick up my food, but I was so tired I just sat here and ate. And I said to my mother, this is what I'm saying. If that had been a man, there would have been another grown man that would have went and got his food
Got his
and
food.
brought it back to him. And he would have
Uh-huh.
been able to relax. He would have already been in his pajamas. They would have brought that food to him.
Yep.
I was like, as women, we got to do the ministry, we got to do the wifery, we got to do everything, and then you still want me to be pleasant, you want me to hear what God say, you want me to pray for you, you want me to prophesy to you, and I'm like, well, I mean, I'm only one person here. But this is
Amen.
our expectation. This is our expectation.
To do that. There was a line in the movie, and it says, and I'm just going to paraphrase with us. We look like $1,000,000, but we feel like nothing. Because, like you said, we got to do everything. Now, we look good. We bring the word. We do that, but we got to do everything. We got to get transportation a lot of times from the airport or however your means of travel. If you decide to drive or whatever, you got to do that. I was up in Boston, and they told me they had called. They said, your hotel arrangements are made. When I got there, well, somebody had made a reservation, but the money wasn't paid. So, I know that, I can't come from strong Black women. You don't leave home without no money in your purse. So I had to take my own card. But you can best believe that when someone came to pick me up on Sunday, when everybody could see them picking me up and bringing me to the church, I had to let them know, here is the receipt for my hotel room.
Listen.
But if it was I know for other Black men, when that's coming, they've got this all planned out months ahead. And let me not go there with the honorariums. Let me not go there with the honorariums. I don't know, but I know for a fact that some men get paid double what women get paid.
Every time.
So we look like $1,000,000, but we got to start being $1,000,000. We cannot allow the men, the government, the church government, the church body, anybody to take us from our rightful spots, because we are the queens. As the sister was saying, we are queens, and we got to stand up, and we got to check them. I know we don't want to women, but we gotta check them.
I stopped going on trips with churches a long time ago to play, because I'm like, you get there and there's no accommodations.
No accommodation.
And then they don't pay. And I'm like, you mean to tell me I'm gonna spend my money to come play for you and you're not taking care of me? Like, what's my point here?
Right. And you're not gonna take care of me, I'm gonna take care of me.
Which means, you know what I did, Pastor Jerry? I began to stay home.
There you go.
And y'all pay these guys, they want a lot of money to go, and then they want you to put them up in the best, and then they want you to pay for their food. Hello.
And sometimes pay for the people who traveling with them, who ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
Entourage.
But let's go back to the accounting real quick, because money is funny when it comes to our culture and color and people. And we assume that white people have it. And they could be in more of a mess than you can ever imagine, house in foreclosure, and we swear they got it going on. But yet is her name put up? But when the accountant talks to us, we don't want to hear her. We don't want her to know our money. We don't want her to tell us.
Didn't I tell you, Shirley, change the subject? Get off of that, right? Get off of it. Get off of it. Cut the mic, cut the music. Right there. Somebody silence her mic.
Wait, you got control of my mic. Don't you cut my mic off. I'm telling the truth. Don't you cut my mic off.
Let me tell you. So I did the calculations. I could retire from my job if every family member was my client.
Okay.
Amen. It's the truth.
I dare not count the number of family members that are running to H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, and all these other ones. And if there's an issue with your tax return, I'll get a phone call. Can you tell me who would I call?
Right. Okay.
They do it to me all the time. They book through someone else and then call me to fix their mess. But you can't fix it because you can't talk to Expedia and Travelocity. You can only book.
So,
From
so,
the Indian to
so back to
government.
how Billie Holiday was getting.
Right?
See, when we talk, because it's the truth, she got $1,000 a week. When people got money, it was the accountant that is needed.
Right,
If
right.
we, even with the church, it's an embarrassment that you got the Holy Ghost and you this and that, and your church is closing because you don't handle your taxes properly.
My God.
Oh.
You
Well,
don't do it.
let's go somewhere else.
Okay.
Let's talk about.
But so even Tara, even when they locked her up at the end, while she was dying, they put the handcuffs on her to the bed. It was to send a message.
Yes.
And I used to say all the time when I was auditing, oh God, I know some of my old colleagues is on my page, but even when I was auditing, we would audit small businesses, cash intensive, the barbers, I mean, granted, we had the larger taxpayers that we audited too, but was it really going to make a difference to audit someone and they ended up owing $200 or $300? It's a message.
Right.
It's a message.
And to scare. It's a scare tactic too, to make you
Right.
intimidated and
And
make
to set it, tell somebody else so they,
Don't do it. But it's just like Billie Holiday in the song "Strange Fruit" when she was saying, they said there was a story of in the same town that this white man got shot, and they lied and said his girlfriend got raped, and they turned right around and picked up 3 black kids, put them in jail. 4,000 people bombarded the jail, took this boy out of his cell, beat him to death, and hung him dead. So here's the question. I don't know how much time we got, but in that poem, the guy said, is it true that we made it? Or is it true they don't hang us anymore?
Oh, they hang us. It's just a remix.
They still hang us.
They hang us. It's a remix.
Yeah.
And they've taught us to hang ourselves.
Yeah, because not only the accountant again, Gail Williams, okay, I got it this time. Gail said, if my family were my clients, I could retire. It's the same thing. If you look at Billie Holiday singing, it was a lot of white people, and they like, boy, she feels sick. Oh boy, I loved her. And and it was that same message. Excuse the expression. Sing, nigga, sing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Or
nigga,
preach,
play.
nigga, preach.
Preach,
Right.
nigga. As long as you don't put the black stuff on your face. They said when she sang that song, the club owner changed and made some rules and said keep the whole room dark and shine a light just on her face while she was singing the song, because she was singing the song at the end of all of her concerts. And she said, even though they cut the lights off, she wasn't going to stop singing Strange Fruit.
Well, I mean, let's talk about, and I say this to the preachers at our church a lot of times, or up and coming preachers. Why do you want to preach if you don't have a conviction?
Right.
You have to have a conviction. There's got to be something that you stand for. There's got to be something. There's got to be something was it Martin Luther King said you got to have something you're willing to die for? I told you I went to Hill House, but I think I heard that before. You have to have something that you're willing to put your money on.
Some of them because it's tax free.
And it's like, and I say this all the time. There's some people that go into ministry because of calling, and some go into it for vocation. They want to get a check.
Yeah.
Pastor Street is went and someone.
It's like,
wait,
ooh.
you know what was funny to me? When I thought somebody significant died and it was a funeral for her dog.
Girl, I
wasn't ready for that. I was not ready for that.
She was crushed.
You know what I said? I said to my mother, I said, oh my, her father must have died.
I thought it was her father. They set us up there
Then
because they had been talking about her father dying prior to that.
Then I said, well, maybe it was her first husband.
Right. Well, he was a dog too, but no, not that dog.
Right. Oh.
Wow. Yeah, that was
boo-hooing. Listen, she was boo-hooing like it was a parent.
The baby was dead.
The baby was dead.
Even poor Fletcher was all teared up, like, oh. I said, these are some
No,
crazy.
Fletcher was teared up because she was teared up, and he wanted to make sure that his stuff was still good. And you know, he had another reason, but
But did
there
you
was
see?
one.
No, go ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead.
No. I was gonna change the subject. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna bring up. Did you see when the white guy from the government said to him, "Oh, you a good liar"?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. On the stairs. Oh yeah.
Straight up called him a liar to his face.
He
But
kind
I
of was.
think that was. Yeah, he was.
And he said, "Yes,
But I think
sir."
that was the turning point for him. That was the turning point for him when he really realized they called him a liar. They used him, called him a liar to his face, even though he was.
How many times do they use us against us?
Yeah, that's their whole method. That's what they do. That's the method.
All of the time.
They studied her to the point where he was like, "Oh, she's a sucker for men."
Yeah.
She was a sucker for men and wasn't even a sucker for good men because she never understood that.
No, she didn't. She didn't have a good example for that.
It was the attention that she needed. It was the validation that she needed for herself inside that never got healed.
But I think it also, I take it a step further because if you're abused at the tender age of 10 when you're a sponge and you're soaking up everything at that point, that is what she was taught.
Right.
So abuse, hurt, pain, punishment is what she was able to relate to.
True.
And because something inside of her was telling her that's not right, then the heroin became the thing that loved her.
Right.
That she could go to. And it was like, what was the man, the one you were talking about, I don't know who he was, who was recording the person. And the person told her, he said, wouldn't your life be easier if you just behaved?
Oh my,
now what does that look like? Wouldn't your life be easier if you just behaved? I mean, we may not have had anybody give us those direct words, but we still heard it. You know, like when we were talking earlier on about not saying anything, keeping the peace. Wouldn't your life just be easier if you just behaved?
Yes.
I was like, okay.
That to what white people used to say. Wouldn't your life be easier if you stayed in the place we put you in?
Stayed in your place. My.
That's what they used to say. Because for the life of me, when you look at Billie Holiday, she wouldn't let anyone really confine her. And that's a lot of Black women. We don't allow ourselves to be confined. We solve problems before we already in it. And they want, because when I look at it honestly, and I say to white people, why are you mad again in America? Tell me what is it that you wanted that you have not gotten?
Yeah.
Why are you mad?
Come on. Right. And you want more.
And you want, what is it? Why and then, okay, if you're mad, that's your business. But why are you mad at us again?
Right.
Why did Trump and this have to become a civil war? How come this couldn't be a right-wrong war?
Yeah.
You automatically said we're going after the Blacks. Why again?
I think in some cases because they can.
Right.
Because they can.
They can shut everything down.
We're not going to do. Oh, Lord.
Oh, wait. I'll tell you why. Here they go. I wrote this down because I had to rewind this one. Because he said drugs and niggers are a contamination to our great nation.
Oh, that's why we're making it great again.
Right.
That's what he said in the movie. And what we don't realize, too, is things like that settle in people's head. If you don't have the right mindset, like I would never let my young grandson listen to that because that's a seed.
Why do you think? Why do you think they allow them to play that man sitting on George Floyd's neck over and over and over and over and over? Because they wanted to send a message.
It's true. They want to send it back.
They
It's the
could
same
have
thing
censored
in
that
the
thing and
music
shut it off so
industry.
that it couldn't miss the
Not just Billie Holiday, but even today, they say blacks, you can sing about getting shot and having sex and sperm in somebody's mouth and this and that and killing and this and that. But in the white songs, they don't sing that. They don't. It's very, very slim that you hear something degrading,
Vulgar.
ridiculous, and vulgar. But it's them saying, we tell you what to say and we tell you what to sing, as Pastor Brown said, for the money. You'll compromise your
for the
gift
money.
for the money.
For the money.
So listen, something else they always do. The first thing they try to do now, mind you, this is a drug addicted person. The first thing they wanted to do was make sure she didn't have a cabaret card, so they would have something else legal to get her to keep arresting her for.
Right. Right. How do you arrest someone? They said in the hospital they found drugs. Huh?
Wait,
How
no,
many
no.
times did they try to plant the drugs on her?
Yeah, exactly. They were the one giving her the drugs.
You don't know where she's getting the drugs, but you want to make her or everybody else think that you're trying to figure out where the drugs are coming from.
Right.
But yet somehow you keep ending up with enough to plant on her to get her some time.
Well, every man she had seemed like they worked for the government.
Right.
So the government was the supplier. So
They
really, the man that they were using to pull her down, they could have also been put in jail if they got caught in the right situation.
Right.
And they had to use a black man.
They had to use a black man, which brings it to
because that's black women greatest kryptonite.
Right.
Let's deal with the
Wow.
other. Now they have the marijuana. They have the marijuana.
Gail like, oh, hallelujah to God.
They have the marijuana plants now. They have one in California. Watch this. You can buy you a square to grow marijuana if you have a license. White people have a license. If they hire you to transfer it and bring it somewhere else and you get stopped by the cops, it's a felony. Black people.
Black people.
We won't take a stand to say with integrity, there's some stuff I'm just not going to do.
They got this whole situation all the way to the poor president. Because remember when they said Hoover said it was un-American for her to sing it.
Yeah.
But he's the one who set up the task force.
Right.
It's un-American, but lynching wasn't.
No.
No. Mentioning the lynching was un-American.
This get crazy and crazy, don't it?
It's the truth.
Wow.
It's the truth.
And, I mean,
But
just think about it too.
Go ahead.
We had what was it? February of last year, they tried to pass the Emmett Till lynching law, which has not been passed, you guys. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
So again,
Jesus.
Somebody don't see that is wrong.
It's always trying to distract watch this. Black women get black men to vote. As divided as we are, just having a small percentage, black women get the small percentage of black men to vote. But then if you have a felony, if you do your time, if you serve all the stuff they accuse, it is amazing. And a lot of blacks are in prison, whatever the reason, they don't have proper representation, nor do they have the money. So then they go in and complete and accept anything that's given to them. Another thing that we are habitual about doing. Always compromising our standard based on what's the easiest way out. When I went to Africa.
Easiest way, right there. That's what you said, the easiest way.
When I went to Africa, they said, it's not that Africans don't like Black Americans. It's that when we get there and we work hard, we expect them to do the same thing. We expect them to own their own business. We expect them to have integrity. We expect them to get up and get it done. But when we wake up and get there, we don't see it. They have free education and they playing around, whereas in Africa, we have to pay for it. If
You
you
gotta pay
don't,
for it.
you can't go. And you have it free and your kids are not going to school, it doesn't make sense.
You know what I thought was interesting, and I say this a lot, sometimes in church. That was her name, Tallulah Bankhead.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
her girlfriend slash supplier, however it went. It was interesting to me that when she couldn't get on the elevator, she was like, "I'll ride with you in the service elevator."
Trying to serve it elevator. Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
so in most people's mind, she was wrong for her. But the people that was supposed to be right for her was the people that was injuring her and bringing her more angst.
Mm.
And this is
Wow.
what happens in church a lot of times. We're rejected by those who can supposedly help us be better.
Wow.
But we're accepted by those that have just let us be us.
Just let us be us.
And grow the wheat with the tear, kind of. And then when we decide to go with, my bishop always says, go with those who go with you. Then you still get that double judgment from the church. It's like, I tried to do good. I tried to be a part of your circle. I tried to be palatable. I tried. I tell my church sometimes, so when you see me with cigarettes and a bottle of whiskey, you just mind your business.
No,
I'm
right.
I'm gonna have to talk to her again. I'm gonna have to talk. You can't say this to your church. But listen, you know, if we would be more honest, and I tell them, I try to always keep my scars and my sin before them, so they don't ever put me on a pedestal. I know pastors that's dead and gone because folk made them their God.
Yep.
So I thought that was very connective for me. When you try, like you try to elevate and you trying to talk to the people at the church because you know they got it together, and folk is acting like I ain't got time because I'm a part of the duties, and you're like, well, I know you work downtown and trying to get a better job, and then they act like they don't know you. And then when you say bunk this, I mean, one of my good friends, he's like, Tear, I could say bunk this job and go shack up with some girl with a lot of kids and she'll take care of me.
Oh my. It's true though.
It's true
It's
though.
sad, but it's true.
I posted a meme a couple weeks ago where Cat Williams, his crazy self, he said he don't have no job, ain't paid child support for none of his kids, but you want to date him because he cute. You some kind of stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's half the women out there.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, now this is something I want to ask you women that's interesting. There was a particular person that I met a long time ago. She was doing something for New York for Jamaica. And I went to support the golf event and it was pretty cool. And I said, I want to come to your office and sit and talk to you. I have a couple of questions. I want to get involved and da-da-da-da. She pushed me off like you wouldn't believe. Not a problem. It is what it is. She said, I'm very busy. But then I realized busyness, she picked up a lot of other new people. Go with me, watch this. And then she became somebody of influence in New York for Jamaica. Okay, cool. Now watch this. In the political arena that I'm in Connecticut, one of the guys said to me, oh, you're going to Jamaica? I want to connect you with my frat brother, and he's white. He called him. The guy sent a text message and said, tell Rolita James I have her covered. I'm telling you that. And he said, okay, I own Blue Mountain. We're going to do this and this and this and this and this and this and that. Why couldn't my sister let me in?
Because it's not the norm. When I left, I quit my job in 2015 and I started my own accounting practice. I started joining all these different networking groups to try and develop clientele, trying to connect with people in the industry. And I went to this meeting one night, this networking meeting, and I got to talking to another tax accountant, and she was also an attorney. And we're talking. And I said, well, this is what I do because this is the stuff that I audited when I was working for the IRS. This is what I look for. So I said, let's get together for lunch and I'll bring my computer with you and show you what I do. She was like, you would do that? And I'm like, why wouldn't I? And she was like, well, you would share what you do for your practice with another. I said, listen, there's a pie. God only intended for me to have a portion of it. That's all I want.
I know that's right.
I don't want yours. I want what he
Right.
has intended.
What he has for me.
I mean,
But I mean, but
So
we go through this.
if what I'm doing can help you get yours, then I'm gonna help you get yours,
We
because
go
that's
through
only
this
gonna come back
all-
around to me.
We go through this all the time.
all the time.
We always, I say this all the time. We become each other's competition when we should really be each other.
Right.
We should be complimenting each other.
No, my competition, I look at her in the mirror every day. I'm like, okay, yesterday you
Yeah.
didn't do too good, girl. You got to get it together today.
Listen.
And we
many
say
other
it.
cultures. So many other cultures. You see one person get in, the whole company turn into
The
that
whole
race.
company.
Get in. T, can
All
I
of
share
them.
a little bit of our story?
Yes.
Okay, there was a part where T was talking. I just thought she was on overload. And I
Say
said,
again?
come on. I thought she was on overload. It was just too much. And I said to her, come on, let's go. Let's go. By get
She
in the
trying
car.
to silence you, T.
Child, she didn't know my mother been trying for 46 years.
Listen, I took her upstate New York. She was in heaven. She was in heaven. She kept looking around. She's like, this is what I'm talking about. Then she said, I ain't telling nobody else about this spot. She said,
Listen,
this
Ro, I'm
where I
consistent, Ro, because listen. I'm consistent, Ro, because me and my best friend went to a restaurant yesterday. She was like, oh, you going to check in here? I said, I never check in from a place I like. Never. If I check in, you better believe it was all right. It wasn't great.
Right. The reason why I said that about her not sharing was simply because she needed it.
Yes.
And people didn't give it to her. You know, it was like, hey, you doing this? And she was like, nobody asked me to do that. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
and we would go out. One week I paid, next time she paid. Next time I paid, next time she paid. It was given without being spoken. It wasn't always looking around, catching the wallet. That's my girl. What do you mean?
And usually I hide my friends.
And she did. Listen,
Listen, I hide everything, Pastor Brown. I told my best friend, my new best friend, I said, listen, I'll put Bestie on there. I ain't going to put your picture. I ain't going to tag you. I might talk about you, but you ain't going to never see me tag you, ever. Because folk is too messy. I don't want them in my business.
And that's what she kept saying to me. She kept saying, Ro, you don't understand. People are messy. She was like, you hang with me. Watch, somebody going to say we gay. I said, girl, right now, you need some peace. I ain't thinking about all that foolishness.
Yeah.
I go back to that girl with the patch over her eye. Where is the sister that got my back?
Right.
That's all, and that's all I'm looking for. And I tell Ro this all the time. I will disconnect from your hips in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Because I've been through too many things. So now when you show a symptom, I don't even wait for the root. I just be, oh no, I see you coughing. That sounds like the last person.
This reminds me of Billie Holiday and the friend in the elevator.
Oh, that was Rosalind was her name. I even wrote it down. That's how much she meant to me. I love Rosalind.
It reminds me of Sierra with Russell, because Sierra got a whole bunch of stuff. We don't know what Sierra been through, messing with Future in her life and her past and anything else. That ain't our stuff. But what got me, when Sierra married Russell, she said he saw my scars and called them beauty marks.
You would have people that, like Gail has a kind heart. She wants to share the information. You can do this. I can do that. You over there. I'm over there. And they take your kindness for weakness.
Yeah.
And they use this woman's weakness to ultimately kill her.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I had a question about this. All of her interviews, you can tell she was high. Why did they do that?
I don't think she was never not high. That's why.
I was just going to say,
she said, they asked her, I wrote this down. They asked her about being great or something. She said, I don't think I can be great without being high.
Great without,
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she
It,
didn't
it
think so.
became, it
She
became a
thought
state
that
of function for
that's the
her.
zone she needed to be in order to be who she
Yeah.
was.
You know,
And that's
to be her.
unfortunate because again, we were talking about this when we first started out, the whole needing a tribe, the whole needing the support, the whole needing a sister. I mean, these days if you can get one that ain't half cocked,
Right.
you know, just needing that somebody that you can say, I need to bounce some ideas off of you, and they ain't jealous, they ain't trying to be you, they ain't trying to sabotage you, all of this stuff here. And it's just it's unfortunate that she was trying to uplift her own community, you know, and and really her tribe, her community was, you know, when she was in the
Yeah.
studio, half out of her mind, she couldn't get none of the lines right. I like that
Right.
Rosalind said, "Baby, we gonna go home. Let's go home,"
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's
because
just
they
go
would have
home.
still kept trying to work her to poor death.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many
Let's
people,
just go.
and this is another thing. Oh my God, so many people depended on her.
She
They
took
did.
care of the whole
She took care of
doggone
them.
busload of folks.
She did.
You heard
Everybody.
the guy, he was like, how you gonna pay him and you ain't paid none of us yet?
No. And like I've heard a few
Wow.
say that we are givers as women. We are givers, and we have to be alert and aware because there's so many takers. There's so many takers. You
Leeches,
know, they
leeches.
come in. Yeah, they just attach to you. But we are givers. And that's who we are. Even when people, and I can speak for myself, and I know that I'm speaking for somebody else, even when somebody has taken from us till it hurt, we give them another chance.
For sure.
We are givers.
Lord have
We
mercy.
have to get to a point where we learn, and it's not being selfish or
Mm.
we
I
have to
think
get
there's
to a
a
point.
I think there's a point in us, Gail, that says, if it was me,
Yeah.
I would want someone to come to my aid. I tell my church all the time, I come get y'all from the jail, from the boo-boo house. If I go nuts, come get me.
Come get me.
You know? And
We never
that's
give
the
up
thing.
hope. We never give
We
up
don't.
hope that
Yeah.
that one of these
At
things
that
that
one
we
time.
do, that one
Right.
is if I do one, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Is
That one time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be in a position where I say I woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Right. Right. And T, there is a saying though that says one black mother can take care of 10 kids, but 10 kids can't
That's the
take care of
truth.
one black mother.
That's a word
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
That's a
Wow.
word.
Sure.
That's a word.
So
And
when you
that's-
say you go to prison, you get go to boo boo house and all that, and take care of an entire church, take care of an entire accounting business, take care of entire trial. But when something happened to you,
Girl.
Listen, I know this is an amen from y'all tonight right here. You go and you aid everybody, but when you need aid, you're by yourself. When everybody cries, you cry with everybody, but when you cry, you cry alone.
You by yourself.
In the bathroom after everybody sleep,
Right?
ain't nobody know about it. Clean yourself
Nobody.
up, get your clothes ready for work, and go do it again the next
And
day.
you hope, Gail, and you hope that you got your emotions under control enough that when somebody's talking to you normally, that you just don't lose
You're
it.
right. You're gonna be good.
that's
And
our
that one
fault.
thing don't make it snap.
That's
Yeah.
our fault though. Even if you look at Billie Holiday, at what point did she break and go, I can't do this no more?
I
At
don't
what
think she
point-
did.
She
I
didn't.
think I had the papers on her
Right.
bed ready for her to sign papers, and she's crying.
Yes, and it's listen, we do it all the time as black women. We never saw our mother break down. We never saw her say, I don't have the money to buy the washing machine.
Never.
I know you didn't.
Never, never. So when
Nope.
we ask, where did we get it from? That's where we got it from. Watch this. Black women are taught to survive, not live.
We are.
That's good.
We are.
Ooh.
Amen.
I'm gonna have to write that on
Yeah.
my board over here.
Yeah, me too.
Live.
Get my
Because
get my
what is
stuff
it?
together
You
here.
better
Thought
not
to
cry.
survive.
You better go
I
to
better
this.
get my
You
marker
gotta
and write
go
that on
to
the board.
the kids. You gotta do this. Your baby teething. You up all night and you going to work. You're not calling out. You feeding everybody. You might have $3 worth of chicken or something. You gonna mash it up and make a soup so everybody can eat and be full.
Everybody
You
Well,
know
didn't she demonstrate that in the movie too? She demonstrated that in the movie. They bandaged her up because she
Yep.
said, "I need to make money."
Yep.
Yep.
You see, we do it all the time.
And
So
you
we
know
don't-
what, Pastor Rowe? And here we go, right? We grew up like this. And mama and them make rice and salt pork to feed a
Yeah.
family, pork and
Mhm.
beans and rice. And we got these
Yes.
bougie Negroes now.
Don't
I don't want that.
Mhm.
right. I don't want that. I don't eat beans.
I don't eat
So
rice.
You would have died in my house.
What?
We do it still as they babies, though. We do that foolishness as babies when we get them peas and they spit it out. Our parents used to. My son did this to me the other day.
Give it to him anyway.
My son did this to me the other day. We was laughing. He said, Mom, remember you used to do this?
Right.
You gonna eat this.
You're gonna eat every bit of it.
You gonna eat every bit of it. Today we be like, oh, they don't like peas, so I'm gonna give them the applesauce, something
Right.
sweet. You get them some pears because they like just fruit in the oatmeal instead of you gonna eat what I put on this table.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
Or don't eat.
You know what,
Or don't eat.
what we didn't talk about, ladies? We didn't talk about her mother.
Mm.
Mm.
And
There's a good reason why we didn't talk about her.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
jump through the screen when that woman said, "It's time for you to take care of
You to
yourself."
go.
She
And
did.
she a baby. What you gonna do?
I've
A
seen
little
it.
You
bit
should go to
was
keep
too
your
much
man
breakfast
happy.
when we were 18. I
I've
had a
seen it.
hot breakfast. My mother, no, you don't let your family walk out the door.
10. And you gonna tell somebody 10 you need to make your man happy? What
10,
man?
make your man happy.
Listen,
Make your man
here's
happy.
a saying. Here's a saying. From 0 to 18, I'm your manager. From 18 to you die, I'm your advisor.
Yeah.
Because you never stop being a parent, one.
Never.
And that,
Your parenting changes,
Yeah.
but you never stop.
Never stop. Yeah.
you never.
I
And
don't,
that's
need
the
it,
thing.
I don't need it to stop either because I'm out of control.
No.
And
I'm
see,
out of
so
control, people.
We see it. So, and you see a lot of young girls saying that to their children,
Mm.
smacking them. You know how to tie your shoes. They're 3.
Mm.
Don't make the
I
mistake.
want somebody to tie my shoe sometime. You tell me that baby shoe.
Listen, I want somebody to carry me home, put me in the car, shower me, and put me in the bed.
I've seen it. I've seen where
Tired.
you see-
Scare me.
I've seen when you see kids and go, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," and the mother goes, "She all right. She
Oh,
all right."
Well, me and my mother fight. I just go, I'm cuter than her. And she go, no, I'm cuter than her.
And you laugh because y'all look alike.
Yeah.
They got the same face.
Just say.
You know, I just thought that was so like symbolic of what happened to her mother that she would do that to her.
To do that to her.
What, even though it was messed up, but did she get that work ethic from her mother? Like, you know, some of the stuff she was doing, I was wondering, like, how much of that was what her mother taught her?
And what
And
was
not
what her
only
father?
that, she
Like-
exposed her to so much.
Right.
And I hate that now with the TV and the reality shows and kids sitting and watching everything. They exposed her to so much. It desensitized her. Did you see how she just walked through the brothel? It was like,
Where's
Right.
my
You
mama?
see my
Where's my
mother?
mama at?
Where's my mother?
it's like it didn't phase her at
Like it
all.
was
I was
nothing.
like, oh
She
my
just
God.
walked in on that poor woman with that man and said, where's my mom?
Right. With my mama.
Not
Yeah,
me.
you're right.
It
That's
didn't
And they
sad.
grow up
And there was another little girl there. There was another
Yes.
little girl in the brothel. You know,
Yeah.
so now, you know what? So she's gone. She's 10. I don't know how this other little girl was, but what's going to happen to her? And there was
It's a
one,
way
I
of
think
life
it was
for them.
Timmy. Yeah, Jimmy. I think Jimmy asked Billy, her, what was your favorite song, and she said, "Take All of Me." And as I was
Oh,
thinking about that, she gave her all of herself away, all that
Yep.
she had. All the good, the bad, the ugly, all of her. And I think that we're givers and we go on, but we have to be mindful that we cannot allow people to take all of us.
no,
Right.
You gonna get what I give you, but you can't take all of me.
no.
And
Not
and
And
you
that's
just
where
have to
I
be
especially
started.
when you don't know what to do with it.
yeah,
right.
and that's the powerful part because that saying of hurting people hurt people. She was still trying to help
Still,
everybody, yeah, everybody while she was hurting.
Yeah.
But she
she
became
never
so numb,
healed.
realize it
Mhm.
as hurting. There's some people we don't want to address
True.
or confront that will help our healing process.
Mm.
We don't want to admit because there's times where it's past our parents and now we're doing it to ourselves.
Oh,
But it's layers,
it is
you know.
layers. You're
And I
right.
think we have to get to a point where we not necessarily, but where we understand we can confront someone without coming face to face with them,
Absolutely.
and that's writing it down because some people will never
Yes,
be in a position to receive whatever you have to say to them, and that can
absolutely.
damage you, and that can damage you even more
Yeah, yeah.
because
As
when
a,
you confront somebody, you're expecting an outcome.
right.
Now, when
And
you don't get that outcome, how devastating is that going to be to you?
I also,
Wow.
I'm also
I
a
become
counselor.
enraged
Yeah.
with fury.
Ooh, yeah.
Also, yeah, I'm also a
Exactly.
counselor. So I tell people to write it down or we do the chair and you imagine them there and say what you want to say.
Mm.
And because in a letter, you can't be interrupted.
The way my anger is set up, though,
Yeah, but you got to get through it. You got it through it.
I don't know
You
about
have
that
to
there
get
chair.
through it. The chair is only you.
The
It's
chair is
you and
gonna
the
be
chair.
a different chair when you finish.
You can kick it over. You can do whatever you want to do, but you got to deal with your anger because it came from somewhere.
Yes, I'll deal with my
It's
anger on
not,
my
we're
way
not
to their
God
porch.
designed. We're not God designed to be angry.
I hear a self-care moment coming.
Yeah.
Let me
I
come to
listen.
that.
I think me and Ro need another trip up there up the road because this.
That's okay.
It's so true. It's so
It is.
powerful because there is an old saying: if you don't like the fruit, check the root. And
Absolutely.
when they were talking, like you said, it really just broke my heart when you were saying they didn't care. They bandaged her up.
Bandage her
Right.
up.
Got her right back
We
on that
just
stage
stand
to
got
perform.
right back on that stage. Cover
Yep.
up your arms. Get you up
Mm-hmm.
there. That's why you can't walk you to the door because we all getting paid tonight.
Yes.
And that was also her design.
Because we're gonna cover up your
Right.
personal
Your
issue with the
scars.
gloves, and then we're gonna wrap your ribs up because you just got beat up.
Mm-hmm.
So they were helping prop her up so that she can keep performing. And we do this in church.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't care how broken, how messed up. For a minute, we had preachers that preached sermons and walked home and shot their heads off
My God.
all across our country. We saw it in the paper.
Yeah.
They
Yes,
preached a full sermon, probably led somebody to Christ, and boom.
That's why it is important to have a circle of 5. You need people where you're not the smartest one in the room.
Absolutely.
Oh, of
You
course.
need people that you can confide in and talk to. You need people that you could go out with and deal with your stuff. Being
Yes.
a counselor, remember also Black people didn't go to counselors. That was taboo. They didn't go talk to people. They didn't go to therapy. And white people didn't allow us to. They told us to get back in the your husband just saw his wife get drugged in a room with a white man. You hear her screaming, and your son is looking
You
up
can't
at
do
you.
nothing.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you grow up living with that. So it's amazing. We all have something that we grew up living with that we need to unlearn and we need to deal with and know that it's okay to deal with it.
Okay.
If no is a complete sentence,
Yes.
and we feel like we owe people an explanation when we don't agree.
My God. Let's
So
look
how
at
do we
this.
get this mindset shift?
Say it
The
again.
mindset
How do we
shift.
get the mindset shift? Because
Okay.
The mindset gets to shift when we can have one-on-one, when we're not influenced by outsiders. That's when you can really hear your inner self. You understand? Because sometimes when the other people are around and they have their opinion, our mind keep going, You get a little bit of this, understand a little bit of that. No, I need you by yourself because there's something greater. Now you ask the God part. When God created us, He gave us everything we needed in the garden. He gave us everything we needed inside of us to be great. He blew Himself into us. So, of course, we're great. But due to contamination, we don't see or experience that great. I need to get you by yourself. Let's hear in the silence, what are your dreams again? When we hear the dreams again, that's when we begin to magnify the change of the mindset because now we need to put that in rotation. If you look at the media and the way they play records, if you notice they used to play Beyonce record like every 30 seconds on somebody's station, play every 3 minutes. You remember any commercial that you hated because they kept playing it, you know it? But we don't do that with our thoughts. We don't do it with our purpose. We don't do it to change. It's that simple. It's not complicated. It's that simple. I remember Eminem. I'm the Slim Shady, yes, I'm the Slim Shady with the real Slim Shady with the hate that song. But everybody knew it because they played it in the store, they played it in the grocery, they played it everywhere. You in the car driving and they played it. So it became a part. Why? Because music, i.e. Billie Holiday, is the only thing that can enter your body without your permission.
Well, music is a universal language also. It's something everybody understands. You don't even got to know the language. You understand the sound.
We understand this.
I still think it's the language of heaven, but we won't get into that tonight. Let's look at the lyrics from this Strange Fruit song.
Strange fruit.
All right. I hope that we're not traumatized. Says southern trees bear a strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree. Ain't the poplar tree in the Bible? Y'all Bible scholars.
Yeah, I did look.
Pastoral scene of the gallant South. The bulging eyes and the twisted mouth. Scent of magnolia fresh, sweet and fresh. Then the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit that the crow to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here is the strange and bitter crop. Now, first of all, the imagery there is sad, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, it took me out.
Because we look at the fruit on trees, apples and oranges, stuff that we can eat and be nourished from. And here this guy is describing like there's something on this tree that don't belong there. And and it sounds like somebody that's standing at the bottom of the tree looking up. And so it's not one of those things you really want to, I think, turn up and blast in your car in the summer with the drop top down. And so, the imagery alone, even when I was watching the movie, I was like, why would white folks want to hear it? Is it like a reverse sort of sick psychotics? Like you want to hear about a lynching? Like, I don't know. For black people, I would guess it would to me, for black people, it would be hard, like a double-edged sword. Like, I don't really want to hear this. These are my people they're talking about.
Right.
And then for white people, I'm like, if it's not raising their awareness, it might be some weird way that they kind of are enjoying those lyrics. I don't know.
Yeah, they also said lynching was for recreation.
Well, I mean, as a businessman, you're losing money. You're killing your channel, right?
Yeah. Well,
Your property.
But that's
That's
what we rather slave one than make all the other ones leave. That's why in slavery they used to cut the head off and put it on the stump. Say if anybody else leave, this is what's gonna happen to you.
control.
Control for sure.
That's
It's
some
the song.
bad shit.
I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I walked through this place, and I don't know what happened to me. I just got so angry. I was angry, furious, and when she kept going, Pastor, what's wrong? I'm like, there's something going on around here. I don't know what it is, but my spirit is not right. What is this
mm.
place? It was the place where they sold slaves.
Oh, wow.
The atmosphere, the aura, the spirit is still there. And they made it a flea market and gave it to blacks. And blacks could not pay the taxes. Now whites own it. And it's this one black lady in there making grass baskets or something. And everybody, I said, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you talk about
that's
the
not cool
song,
at all.
it's not cool at
Not at
all.
all.
And all these big houses right there, it's called the strip. It's all these big houses that former slaves built when they became free. And the government, here we go again, kept raising the taxes till they could no longer afford them. Now white people have them as huge mansions that black people have built. And it's right on the water where the big slave ships used to come in.
Watch
And
out,
bring-
New Hallville. Watch out, New Hallville.
Watch out.
Because there's a whole bunch of people over here that don't look like me.
Is this powerful? This is something. And that's right there in Charleston. It's a spirit, it is something else. But when you look at it, you don't know the history of it. It looked like these are beautiful houses, mansions on the water.
Wow.
So when you listen to
I'm
the
trying
song,
to. I'm still trying to understand the pastoral scene in this song.
well, it's interesting because if you look at the time in certain places, there weren't a lot of black pastors. And remember, the Ku Klux Klan were pastors and religious. They used the Bible to lead people.
And even during slavery time and during that time, the pastors, if you will, the black people that they allowed to be pastors, they had
Yeah.
slave Bibles, and they had torn out lots of pages. They were just keeping the
True.
ones, to
Yeah.
honor your master, and those kind of things. They
True.
had slave Bibles. I know there was one on display at Yale a few years back where it was the slave Bible where they'd taken out all the stuff that and whom the son sets free is free indeed was nowhere to be in there because they didn't want us to know.
They
about
scratched that part out of the word.
They tore it up, and then we have to also know a lot of folks couldn't read.
Nah.
A lot of them couldn't read. They learned, but a lot of them couldn't. And so, there were times that they could dance and get together and dance and have a good time, but they had to submit to these evil people who had the rule over them. They had that, obey those who had the rule over you, and these crazy slave Bibles that they had modified for, people who were slaves. And some of them, when this lynching was going on, some slavery supposedly had ended. It wasn't even in that time. But these people were still under that doctrine, so to speak.
That's true.
It's just so I'm sure that the ones who considered themselves pastors at that time, they still had to live under the same law.
Same law. Yeah.
Well, what was it? What was the movie they just did?
Black
Professor
Bottom.
Gates. No, Professor Gates just did the two-day series of the Black Church.
The Black Church. Okay.
And he was talking about how the white slave master would sit on the side of the pulpit.
Mhm.
So you got the black preacher preaching towards the pulpit, and the white slave master sitting there looking at, like he wanted a ministerial staff.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the same thing again. Let's go back to Charleston, South Carolina. There's a church called St. James, which was one of the first churches in Charleston, South Carolina. The white people used to sit in the bottom, and the black people used to sit at the top. And they had to go out the church another way and couldn't mingle with the blacks, but yet they were in church hearing about a God that is liberating. Are you kidding me? But now let's get to the point of Billie Holiday singing this song. She wasn't the writer of the song.
Right.
But they crucified her for singing it.
Again, I'm gonna say what needs to be said. I have what needs to be said, but I'm gonna sit back here and let you say it.
It's like, wow.
Or what usually happens, if I could be given a pastoral pass, she was the only one that had, I'll say it nice, the kahunas to sing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she wasn't the only one that had the platform, because clearly they was looking for, what's the dude's name? Louis Armstrong was one of the biggest of the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some others that, we could name. Because they said, why can't you be like this one and that one?
Yeah.
So like Pastor Kimber was saying, they wanted her to be a sketch and fetch.
Yeah.
Wow.
And even Billie, in the end, when she was in the bed, and no, she was not in the hospital yet. Her and Jimmy were laying on the bed, and she was singing the song with Sister Rosetta Thorpe. She said, "I should have been a gospel singer." And even though we might not call "Strange Fruit" a gospel song, she was a gospel singer.
There you go.
Gospel. She was, giving them the good news and giving them the message.
Yep,
but she knew there was more in her than was allowed to come out. And we can see a lot of people in our communities, in our churches, that there's a lot more in them that is being allowed to come out. We're suppressing things and holding things in, and it's just so much more to us.
But a lot of people want to take a shortcut. There's no elevator.
I don't know. This is a question to raise, because to piggyback off what you just said, there's so much people have to offer in churches. And now the size of the membership is way smaller than it was. So we had even more before. But I wonder sometimes, do we typecast and pigeonhole in church because we teach a gospel that makes people think if they don't preach, play an instrument, sing, they don't have a place. So everybody that comes to church is looking to raise themselves to that place, and they don't realize that there's many other skill sets you can use. These are just the ones that are prominent here. But gifting and anointing doesn't, just because you're not in church hubba and shouting about it, don't mean it's not an anointing. And it's every anointing is not for in the house. Some anointings are for outside of the house.
Right.
I just spoke on a women's leadership panel for the intelligence community last week, and the theme of the panel was lead from where you are. We have a habit of telling people, speaking from the church, they have to be perfect, sinless.
Count me out.
In order to do this, do that.
Here go my Baptist finger. I'll be back.
So you have people who that are convicted and have come to terms with who they are and how they are and want to be a better person. And they're not told, if you don't flip the script overnight, you ain't right. So where is the hope for that person? So why would you expect me to stay in the church, because we talked about the size is dwindling, if
you're not going to make room for me?
I'm getting more acceptance outside.
I said it already.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is where I have, my church, but this is where I have the problem, because 2 Timothy 2:15 says, study to show yourself approved. So it doesn't matter what people try to put on you. If you study, you can rightly divide that there's more to it. If you are
But we
made
have to get people into that mindset. People
Yeah,
aren't
Well, wait,
there.
okay, so okay, I understand what both of you are saying, but I think Gail is saying more of what I'm saying, right?
right.
So I was just dumb because I should have left the church a long time ago and pursued
And go
something else.
where?
But when you're saying that I'm a musician or a singer, but I don't sing like that. I don't sing like I belong in the choir. I sing like Billie Holiday, or I have a more jazzy thing going on with me. Where do I fit in? And when I come to rehearsal, y'all laugh at me because I scat.
See, I don't know with those kind of people because I sung because I was happy, not because I could. So
Even so, it's like you want, if you're gonna come to any organization, you want to fit in. People
Yeah.
join churches based on, most of the time where they fit by whatever clique they came in with, who invited them. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
So if I come to a church that isn't woman preacher friendly, how long do I stay? Or do I stay forever and take the abuse like most people do, and then they scream church hurt after, the truth come out about their leader that
But
they
like you
was a
said-
selfish somebody anyway.
but like you said before, there are people who went through that still won't come to me, your and Pastor Brown church, and we're women. They still won't come. So as Gail was, wait, who's Gail? Which one?
Gail is
Gail.
up top.
That's all for you.
I'll put the names back.
The accountant lady, and she said before that we have to get out of the mindset. Because after you've been hurt and you still want God, but you still won't go to a woman's church. You still won't go where you have the liberty to do and somebody pull out the greatness of who you are.
No,
So
because they avoid me, they lie to me, they make excuses. Because every time they come, Pastor Brown, let me tell you, they come and they tell me, oh, my last pastor,
great time.
they wouldn't let me. Oh, they wouldn't let me. And I go, really? What wouldn't they let you do? All right, then let's start it today. You gonna do it. And before the week is out, they done got a big fat F.
Yeah.
And I say, I see why your pastor didn't let you. Because you're inconsistent, you devil.
True.
Now we
are
see
not telling
it
the
ain't the
truth.
pastor and it ain't church hurt. You just wanted attention. And now I ain't letting you waste 20 years of my time because I ain't got that kind of patience.
It's true. Now, see, I would use Gail
For
in
sure.
my certain separate, and I'm just being honest. I'd be like, oh, you're an elder? Go see Gail. Let's make sure you're in order. Let's go by the book.
Well, you might not want to do that because Gail got some stuff going on too now.
It don't matter, right? That's the
But
thing.
enough
Don't
people have
matter.
bandaged it up and put my makeup on.
And put you on stage,
I
honey.
know that's right.
Yes,
Put
it
the
is.
boxy up.
The beauty is the call versus the condition. We all got something. You understand? Claire, I'm one of the baddest preachers around, but I'll smack you good.
Uh-oh.
Lord,
That's my truth.
I think that might be all of us. Pastor Brown was in the service, so she might got a little something for you.
We all got something
I
different.
like my
It
little
might
something.
be
I try to
something.
behave, though. I try to behave.
See, I tried me too. I've been tried in the fire. I didn't come through with pure gold though. I had to tell some people. But at the end of the day, Gail, you have something that the kingdom needs. And it's not just having a conversation. We need to be in order with the way this system and the government is coming down. Like there's people who don't even know to change their 501c3 to a 508c1a. They don't understand that something's getting ready to go down. They don't understand it. They're not listening. But all they thinking is if I preach the gospel or if I teach these people to trust God. I teach people, the Bible said, let business be a man. Handle your business.
Handle your business.
I think that sometimes building self-esteem is a lot easier than we're making it seem. And I think that a lot of times it's harder for us to build self-esteem with our age group or or build well Ro build everybody's self-esteem. She's another breed, so she gonna have a problem with what I'm saying, because she start off with, hey beautiful, you look so nice, oh my god. I mean, that's something else. Hold on, she got another gift.
All of you are. It's
But
true.
but what I'm saying is, we got to start remembering that everybody mama wasn't like ours.
That's true.
And when we see young
True.
people struggling, we got to take the time. You just got to. I know it ain't your kid. I know you done did your time. I know you don't even like kids. But there might be somebody that your child, your grandchild is bringing around that needs you. And you got to be more vocal. And you got to
Yeah.
make more time, because by the time they are my age, and if they're not intentional, then we just got a grown
Scary.
person in church that got a title that's still looking for attention. They got a title and still looking for validation. They got a title and still cuss and steal and got all of these problems, because it wasn't, I think Pastor Rose said earlier, because these issues weren't dealt with in their childhood.
It's true. But church is one of the only places you can go and be somebody without a background check.
I mean, it's the only place that you should be able to, in a certain way, because now we made church so professional. Everybody got to be a professional, and ain't nobody anointed. And
Ain't
that's a whole
nobody-
nother problem.
That's horrible. That's true.
That's a whole nother day.
That's true.
People don't even know what anointing is.
It's
No.
true.
I'm like, if y'all sing one more slow song and tell me to worship when you ain't even tapped in yet, I'm annoyed.
True. I'm with
What
you.
are we shouting for when we
Right.
still broke?
It's true. But Pastor Brown,
You
said
have
it-
no joy if you have no finance.
right. That's true.
Oh,
'Cause
glory.
it-
I'm getting upset. Go
Well,
ahead.
ladies, I have enjoyed you guys.
You got to go, Gail?
I get up at 4:45.
We're getting off here
and-
anyway. It's 10
Okay.
o'clock. This is almost past our time. We're gonna wrap
This
this
was
up.
great.
Final words. Go ahead, Gail. Go you first, because you got to go.
Final words about Billie Holiday. I have to say, we have to surround ourselves with the right people that are not only going to have a need, but also have the ability to feed.
Come on.
Amen.
Um,
Amen.
because
Woo!
we all have issues,
Right.
and we should be collaborating in our efforts, not contaminating.
Right.
So
Amen.
be mindful of your circle.
That's good too.
Amen.
That's
word.
good. That's good. All right. Who's next? Pastor
Okay,
Rose, you
I'll
gonna
go
go
next.
next?
Pastor Brown says she'll go.
Okay.
Yeah,
Come
I'll-
on, Pastor
I'll go
Brown.
next. I'll go next. Just from Billie Holiday, my heart goes out to her because she didn't get maybe all the love that she needed. But I think as women, we've got to learn how to love ourselves and learn and love our neighbors, our sisters, our brothers as ourselves. We got to get that love thing in there because, and I'm not trying to be all churchy, but love does cover a multitude of sins. And we got to cover people with love. Let's love them. They may not be everything they need to be. We ain't everything we ought to be, but let's love them anyway.
This is good. This is good. All right, Pastor Rose, what you got?
Well, one of the things I want to say is thank you so much for inviting us all. I speak on behalf of all of
Yes,
us.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys for
so much
coming.
for inviting us all on this and talking about this subject and letting us be ourselves. When we got it in and had fun. I want to conclude with just like Jesus, when he was put on the cross and beaten unrecognizable, Billie Holiday had a trait of his, which was in her lowest state, she still produced.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
She stood for Christ.
She still produced in her
Still
lowest state.
produced. She still produced. Now that's a word right there.
Yeah.
Mhm. She still produced. in
Don't
her
don't
lowest
allow
state.
your circumstance to make you impotent.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Because
Good.
that happens
Yeah.
so often, and more often than the law should allow. Ladies, this was a great show. My God, pour back into you. Oh, that's Valerie. Says she enjoyed herself tonight. I want to thank you guys. I appreciate you, Gail. I understand the early morning rise.
Girl.
It's not easy, and I know you still have to prepare yourself for tomorrow. So I want to say to everybody that's watching, thank you so much. We're out of here,
Thank you.
and we hope to see you next week on another Tia's Talking session. We love y'all, and good night. All right.
Bye.